All right, with this video, I'm going to show you how to run an ANOVA on SPSS. Okay, so first, with this, we're not going to do factorial. This is just a simple one-way ANOVA. Okay, so you select Analyze, General Linear Model. Okay, you could select one-way ANOVA, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do General Linear Model, Univariate, right? Because this is what we're going to be using for our factorial ANOVA as well. So for this example, we're using the class data set of the survey that you guys all completed at the beginning of the semester. So we are going to predict mindset. We're going to use mindset, mean mindset, and the dependent variable. And I'll refresh your memory. Mindset is a growth mindset, as if you believe that your basic intelligence can be changed and improved. A fixed mindset is if you believe that intelligence cannot be changed. So higher scores on the mindset scale mean that you believe that participants believed that intelligence can be changed. Okay, we're going to predict that from parental education. Okay, we put the predictor, the independent variable, which in this case is not a true independent variable, but it's a correlational analysis, right? But whether or not your parents went to college, right? Fixed factor. So dependent variable, or the one you're predicting, in the dependent variable and fixed factor, that's going to be your nominal variable or your ordinal variable, depending. This is a nominal variable and fixed factors. Okay, next, you're going to select EM means, okay, estimated marginal means, and you're going to select both overall and parent education and put it in display means for. This allows us to actually look at what the means are there, all right? Then we hit continue. All right. Now, there are other options here. Okay, we can select post hoc. Okay, so if the omnibus or overall F test is significant, we're going to look at parent education. Actually, we're going to look at the pairwise comparisons for parent education anyway. We have 3 groups here. We're going to move that to post hoc tests, and then we're going to select Tukey. All right, and we're going to hit continue. All right, other options here, we can have, if we select options, we can select descriptive statistics and estimates of effect size, which will give us partial eta squared. All right, we can select these 2. We can then see the means without estimated marginal means without controlling for other things. Okay, so we hit continue, right? We can also select plots. And if we want to have a bar chart, which with parental education on the x-axis and your dependent variable, which is mindset on the y-axis, we can put it in horizontal axis and then click add. Okay, we can select line chart or bar chart. I'm going to select bar chart here for now. We can also add error bars if we want. For now, we're just going to leave this and we're going to hit continue. Finally, we're going to click OK. All right, now I need to change my screen share to the output window. All right, so now we have the output window here, and this is the output for our analysis of variance, right? So we can see between subject factors, this just gives what we entered as our factor or our independent variable, whichever. Okay, so here we have parental education. No, so 116 people said their parents had not been to college. 55 people said they had, and 8 were not sure. Now, 8 is a little bit too small. There's not enough people in this category to really draw some conclusions, but we're going to look at this anyway, right? So here we have the descriptive statistics, means and standard deviations, and case count for each of our 3 groups or levels of our factor here. Next, we look at our test of between subjects effects, and we look at the F test. Okay, this is a test of whether there is a difference in between any one of the 3 means or however many groups you have. All right, and we can see that our p-value is 0.018. So if our alpha level is 0.05, we can reject the null hypothesis that there's no difference between these 3 means, right? We see the effect size of partial eta squared is 0.044. We move down. Now we can see our estimated marginal means right here. Okay, so we can see people whose parents did not go to college have higher scores on the mindset scale, the more growth mindset than yes and not sure, right? Then we look at our post hoc comparisons, right? This is an adjustment, a Tukey SHD adjustment for family-wise alpha error, right? So we look over here, this is significance or p-value comparing no with yes and not sure. And we can see there is no significant difference between the means of no and yes, but there is a significant difference between no and not sure, which is the alpha of 0.02. And if we have set it at 0.05, then we can reject the null hypothesis, right? And here we have comparing yes to no and not sure to no and yes. Okay, so that you're going to see it more than once each one. It also gives you a table, which basically just shows you which are significantly different. So means for groups and homogeneous subsets are displayed. So you can see that not sure is significantly different from both yes and no, but they are not significantly different from each other. All right. And if you scroll down, you can see this bar chart. If you wanted, you can double click it. And if you want to add error, I don't know, you probably cannot add error bars, but you can show data labels. Okay, so that's the means for each if you want. Okay. All right, so that's all we're going to cover for this one. I'll do one more video showing a different data set so that you can look at it again. And